Think we ready? We ready? All right, let's get it. Let's go. Well, everyone. If you're here, welcome back to the Working Man Podcast. What's going on? I don't go live a lot, but I figured I'd try. I don't go live a lot, but I figured I'd try this with the Diddy trial because everybody's talking about it right now. So I might as well get my coins in too, by the way. So if you're digging the channel, of course, subscribe to the channel, become a member down below. And if you want to donate to the channel, of course, hit the $, Cashapp, $, Mr. Normie. You can become a member of the channel or hit the Ko-Fi or, of course, in the Super Chat. All links are in the description box. And, of course, you know how to Super Chat, so I want to search your intelligence. So what I want to do right now is I want to get to the some of the logs of the chat via Twitter, if you will. Let's go here. Now, some of y'all might not know this, but Inner City Press, he goes in there, he does, what does he do? He transcribes the proceedings of the trial, if you will. So what I want to do is start off by reading all this, and then we'll probably get into stuff like they got Reuters coming out here. They got, of course, we got the Law and Crime Network. They're doing their thing, of course. But before I get into all that, what I want to do is I want to read the transcription of what's going on because this is where you're getting the most information, all right? So we're going to start right here from the Inner City Press. Let me make it bigger so everybody can see it if you're watching. Says here, as Combs' lawyer mill around, he has still not yet been brought out. A U.S. Marshal brings out a big sheaf. Well, by the way, there's going to be grammar errors because he's trying to type this on Twitter while stuff's going on. A big sheet of papers and a red book picks up the chair to search underneath all clear. 9:56 a.m. Combs' lawyer, Mark Antificlo, and Brian Steele are talking low next to the podium or table. Alexandria Shapiro stands with Nicole Westmoreland. Their prosecutors are seated in front of the table, -1, Maureen Comey. 10:05, Judge Clerk, are we ready to proceed? That was Mr. Donaldson, who just went back into the holding cell. Yes, now waiting for Mr. Combs to be brought out as they bring him out into the courtroom. All right. 10:11 a.m. Sean Combs is brought in a white shirt. He puts his papers underneath the table, leans back, and blows a kiss to the gallery. His mother, Brian Steele, standing next to him, whispering in his ear. 10:17 a.m. All rise. The clerk. This is U.S. versus Sean Combs. Judge Submaranian. Do we have the signed order of forfeiture? AUSA Slavic. That is the DA, the district attorneys, the feds. By the way, yes, I am handing it up. Judge, first I'll go over that I have received and the pre-sentencing reports I hear from the parties. Okay, let's continue. Judge says, I've reached the defense reply memo of October 2nd and the letter from Mr. Combs and the video defense plans to play here in court. I appreciate the letters I received, the government's letters from Ms. Ventura, and I appreciate them. Combs' lawyer, Alexandra, we're going to submit a course evaluation from MDC. AUSA Slavic says we don't have a copy. Judge says, please give her one. USA Slavic, Mia no longer wishes to address the court here today, in part due to the letter submitted by the defense for bullying. Okay, let's continue on down here. AUSA Slavic, we think the defense letter violated your honor's rules. Judge says, I thought the tone was inappropriate and it should not happen again. Anyone besides Mr. Combs? Combs' lawyer, Mr. Steele, says the Reverend Mr. Combs' children will come up and stand together. Combs, Steele, his lawyer, also Giovanni from the program. Judge, Ms. Slavic, AUSA Slavic, Mr. Slavic. He also says Rule 32 only applies to the parties and victims. The court is within its rights to exclude character witnesses. 940.F.3D 167. Judge Furman has used this limit to limit defense witnesses. Judge, but I can allow them, correct? As I overruled the defense wanting to exclude Mia. ASUSA Slavic, within your discretion. Judge says, Mr. Steele, okay, for the children and Dr. Johnson. Steele says, Reverend Johnson. Judge says, I'll think about the others. All right, let's go down some more. Judge, now as to the objections, the defense says acquitted conduct cannot be considered. There is no guidance from any court on this. We don't know what the jury was thinking, but it's about overlapping conduct, and it only impacts the advisory guidelines range. Judge says, acquitted conduct can be considered. See U.S. versus Vaughn, 2D Circuit, and other cases. Even matters that cannot be considered for the guidelines can be considered under 3553A. Now, the U.S. objections, they argue for the criminal sexual abuse guidelines. Okay, let's continue. Judge says there is little precedent on what type of threat is required, but bodily harm makes most sense. Concrete harms to force Jane and Miss Ventura to engage in sex acts. Does this conduct establish the convicted conduct? There was the flight from Keynes. Judge says, did that meet the requirement of bodily harm threat? There was evidence of that in this case with respect to the hotel nights and freak-offs. But in light of the constitutional question raised, the court declines to apply the cross-references. But 3553A, right? Judge says, since I can consider it under 3553A, it does not impact the sentence. Next, Mr. Combs' marking of pads as quote-unquote legal, that was troubling. But the intention is not clear. The government could have pushed to clarify it, so I will not apply the enhancement. Judge says the government objects to probation, not considering Jane and Miss Ventura as vulnerable victims. I overruled this. What made Combs' coercion effective was their condition. Anyway, the court would reach the same conclusion. Now, Mr. Combs' objections. Let's continue. Judge, Mr. Combs objects to characterizing Miss Ventura and Jane as victim. That is overruled. Mr. Combs also objects to the escorts were characterized as victims. That is also overruled. They were transported for the purpose in engaging in commercial sex. Judge says there was Jules and Paul and Cabral. Jules and Reggie and Rico as to coercion. When if involuntary is uncompelled, that is from Black Law's Dictionary. It is a broad concept. The threat to release videos and Jane's home, that is coercion. Judge says Mr. Combs said he was paying for time, not sex. That is contradicted by reality. He has not expressed remorse for transporting people for prostitution. Combs has challenged his guilty full-throated, including after trial. Judge says Mr. Combs wants to apply the 0-point offender provision from 2023, but 2024 on other issues. That is not possible under 2D Circuit's one book rule. Next, Mr. Combs' objections to the $5,000 assessment under the statute because there are no victims denied. Let's continue. Judge says, I have the forfeiture order. Is that your signature, Mr. Combs? Mr. Combs says, yes, sir. Judge says, Mr. Steele, did you review it? Combs' lawyer says, I did. Judge, I incorporate the order into the judgment in this case. Judge, all remaining objections are overruled. Combs' lawyer says, although you say some points don't impact your sentence, it might impact his eligibility for low categorization if you impose an incarceratory sentence. Judge says we can address that. His lawyer says if necessary. He continues on. Combs, Alexander Shapiro, his other lawyer, says, I'd like to make some more points. We briefed extensively. Judge says 380 pages. Combs' lawyer says we raised due process, the fairness concerns set forth by Justice Sotomayor. We believe militate for our interpretation and preclude the court under section 3553. Again, I'm reading this from this man, Interstate Press, from Twitter. He has some grammatical errors in here, of course, because he's trying to transcribe this on Twitter or trying to write this down what people are saying on Twitter while he is at the same time listening to what they're saying. So if I have to mess up on here, it's because he wrote it, but I get it. Combs Shapiro, his lawyer, I want to preserve this for appeal. Should there be an appeal of your sentence? Judge said it is preserved. The PSR says the offense level is 27. I agree with that. The criminal history category is 1. That leads to a guidance of 70 to 87 months. Oh boy.
Enemy spotted.
Okay, 87. Oh man, 70 to 87 months. Okay. Judge says I'll hear from the government. AUSA Slavic, the DA, says I'd like to respond after the defense as well. Today is about accountability and justice. I think this is the statement, the closing statement from the government. So I'm going to read it, okay? I'd like to respond after the defense as well. Today is about accountability and justice. For 15 years, the victims' lives have been shattered by abuse and exploitation. This is not a case about freak-offs and hotel rooms. This is about victims, about a man who did horrible things to other people. His currency was controlled. He weaponized it. All of the 353 factor points to at least 135 months. The defense accuses us of seeking 135 months so that the court splits the difference. We think probation's recommendation of 60 months does not account sufficiently for the harm to Cassie and Jane. The defendant tries to argue this is just a sex, drugs, and rock and roll lifestyle, but this is a case about transportation for prostitution and violence. The defense admitted to the violence and at trial. The defendant's respect for the law is lip service. Okay? He goes on to say, Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements. Start over. Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for Miami next week. Wow. Really? That's insane. Okay. Oh boy. Let me read that again. Mr. Combs has booked speaking engagements for Miami next week. That is the height of hubris. He did this for 15 years. He was responsible for transporting many escorts. That's a lot of freak-offs and a lot of hotel nights. He knew it was illegal. USA Slavic, Even in cases that decline to apply the cross-reference significance, sentences are handed down, including in this district. Consider U.S. versus Dylan Jordan. Okay, and he left a reference to that. Judge Submarinian says in Jordan, the defense had been convicted and imprisoned in Cuba in the years prior. Am I correct? And that's why Judge Cronin varied upwards. The DA says that is correct, as well as other factors. Judge says, so there is a distinguishing feature. Okay, let's continue. The DA also says there also a case by Judge Kimba Wood. Man Act cases with fear, violence, and threats routinely get significant sentences. This is not a simple transportation case, but it has major aggravators. As to Cassie, he hit her head and stomped on her. The video from the LA hotel was played many times at trial, and it never got easier. As to Jane, he punched her, he slapped her a little over a year ago when he knew he was under federal investigation. At trial, they said they owed the violence, or they knew about the violence, right? Admitting to the violence in front of the jury as part of a trial strategy is not accountability. Freak-offs were extended performances of sexual degradation and humiliation. Cassie and Jane did not want to have sex with strangers. He made them do it. He continues on. He had an escort urinate in Cassie's mouth until she choked. Her victim impact statements make clear she still has nightmares and flashbacks, the scars on her body. Jane's text makes clear her anguish and trauma. Mia said she got PTSD and anxiety. Delonte Nash said he was caused lasting damage. Capricorn Clark says he blacklisted her once she spoke up. The chef, Jordan Atkinson, wrote how she was impacted. It was real and serious. All right, let's continue. He downplayed the abuse, calling it rare, but it was not rare. Cassie's testimony was that he was violent with her at any time. It was not mutual. You saw no photos of the defendant with injuries. All right. He blames doctors for prescriptions. He pretends he is the victim. He hasn't accepted responsibility for his criminal conduct. The information provided to this expert was incomplete. He will pose a danger at any age. He choked Jane at 54 years old.
Enemy spotted.
Ooh-wee. All right. Well. Yeah. Let me see if I can refresh this, see if they got any more updates here, because there's a continuation. Let me scroll back down. See if we got any more statements. Here we go. More replies. Okay, the last one was at any age. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Prostitution causes other problems. It happens out of public view. General deterrence is needed. Send a message to all victims and to the public that this defendant's crimes are serious. You could encourage or discourage abusers. AUSA says at least 135 months are necessary. Judge said, let's take a break. So they are now about to take a break from the court proceedings, I guess, do their thing. So they want what? They want 135 months. Woo-wee. That is, God. The AUSA wants 12 years. The district attorney wants 12 years, 135 months, y'all. Man, God, man, oh man. Okay, well, y'all see it. Let's see what you call is talking about. Law and crime. See what they're talking about here.
Remember, there was testimony with regard to support, for instance, the violent aspects. I mean, specifically that video. So, which he did, admit in the public that he did do that. There was that whole video where he was responding to, the video in the hallway at the hotel, which was one of the things that the judge did look at and consider with whether he was going to release him post conviction. So, I mean, when they're saying that, like you were saying, the crossover, that the fact that he was acquitted doesn't take away from some of the allegations supporting that violent aspect.
Now they're talking about comparable cases and all that. Here's my question, Tyler. You remember the apology video? Remember his apology video?
Now, by the way, just in case you're not getting here, the courtroom they have taken a break. The AUSA, before they broke, I guess before they went on their break, AUSA, the district attorney, asked for 135 months for Diddy. That's what they're asking for. So I assume after the break, the defense is going to give their statements on why Diddy should get, less time or whatever. But at the end, as you can see here, before they went to break, right here, AUSA says they want at least 130. Let me put the fair use down. AUSA says at least 135 months are necessary. The judge says, let's take a break. All right. So now they're on, I guess, a break. Oh, wait a minute. I'm late. They're back. Let's continue. Whew. All right. Okay. Discroll. This is Combs' lawyer. I'm grateful, Your Honor, for you being so permissive with the microphone for us today. I'm going to talk about sentencing disparities. A blind resilience on the guidelines can create disparities. Combs District. The DOJ has long said that the Mann Act prosecutions should focus on the commercial case. Sean Combs did not make a penny from this. The Jordan case, this is not comparable. He served 8 years in Cuba for sex crimes. That was his second chance. Jordan made 1.4 million. Do you know who many sex acts that it is? He had over 100 clients. Mr. Combs' offense is nothing like that. 3 of Jordan's victims reportedly unwanted sex. One was raped after being drugged. This was 4 minutes ago. Let me refresh again because I'm late to the party. All right. Okay, let's scroll down some more. Let's go on down. Okay, more replies. Let's continue. That was the X. Okay, Okay, so they're still going. That was 5 minutes ago. They have not. He has Inner City Press has not continued on. So, all right, let's go back to
video that he put forward right after CNN had published the 2016 tape of him beating Cassie Ventura. You couple that, I'm going to play that for you, and then you couple that with what he's saying in this letter to the court and what he might say in court, where he describes he's been reading and writing, working out, attending therapy, teaching a free game business course to inmates, sharing both successes and failures. Let's compare that to the video, and we'll talk about it.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. Going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Now, Tyler, I'm no psychologist. I can't read Sean Combs' mind, but I can tell you what the...
I remember when that video came out, I was like, that video came out right after what was it? After the Cassie video came out, because remember the lawsuit came out, then he's like, oh, I didn't do it. And then after that, the Cassie video comes out, and then he makes this apology like, man, that was so. Man, oh wow. Let's get back to inner city. Let's see if they got anything else. If we come back yet for some more updates. See here. Scroll on down again, y'all. If you want to donate to the channel, hit the Cash App, hit the Ko-Fi, hit the Super Chat, or just view it a few minutes and get off there. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. All donations and support is appreciated. Okay, there's no updates right now, so we'll get back to law and crime.
Laws, and here's the problem. Here's the problem, okay? Problem is, if you listen to what the prosecution presented during the course of the trial, he committed crimes or allegedly committed crimes after that video. I mean, what was found in his hotel room when he was ultimately arrested in New York? Evidence of freak-offs or wild king nights or whatever you want to call it. There are people who looked at that video and said, I don't believe it. I don't believe he's sincere. So if we're talking about what he can say, what he can do in court to really fight for his life after he's already been convicted, are there lessons from that video? Is that video going to play a role here? What do you take away from it, Tyler?
I think the video will play a role. It's out there and it's in the public domain, and Mr. Combs has said that, and he's essentially saying the same thing now in his letter to the court, where he apologized, take responsibility, said that he's rehabilitated himself. He's in jail doing the right thing now. And I think the judge is going to make a decision that takes all of that into consideration. Now, he has been in jail for 14 months. He just went on trial for his life. So this has not been a cakewalk for him. And being in jail is not easy for anybody. And so I think the court has a tough call to make here. But I do think that, the letters from inmates, him having an impact on their lives, I do think that the judge is going to say he has some redeeming value in the future of his life, but that doesn't mean that he escapes responsibility. There has to be some sort of accountability, and I think the court is going to be very aware of that in the sentence that they hand out. And I don't think they're going to let this be something where he just walks out immediately after being processed.
We got a poll up. How are you feeling as we wait? 52% say here for the drama, 22% say anxious, 17% say hopeful, and 9% say angry. I think that's a good kind of, summary of the feelings of this case. Alexis, how much can a defendant's statements in court affect a sentence when there is no pro forma sentence? There is no mandatory, this is life in prison. It really doesn't matter what anyone says. There's a lot of room here. There's a lot of discretion. How much does it matter? How much does it affect what the defendant says?
Well, first, if I was taking the poll, I'd have to say I'm here for the drama too. But secondly, that is taken into consideration. But I mean, some of these statements that he's making, as well as this letter from the inmates, I'm not buying what they're selling with the letters from the inmates. I have a concern that those letters were made because these inmates possibly think that when they get out, there'll be some benefit to them, making that once Diddy is out. So I'm not buying what they're selling there. But the court does take into consideration that. But what they're really looking for from the defendant is that he has remorse, that he acknowledges what he has done is wrong, and that he wants to move forward in a positive and be a productive part of society and not go back out and could reuse drugs and abuse people and do the things that he was previously doing.
By the way, y'all, I'm checking the Twitter to see if there's any more updates, and right now they haven't updated yet. Well, they got one, but I'll wait till they have more replies before I go back and read some more. I don't want to just read one and come back. So we'll get a few more minutes.
And with that he's clean, he's in jail. So, I mean, that doesn't mean there are plenty of inmates that have gotten clean in jail and went right back out, start using again. So that, to me, that doesn't say much either. This speaking thing, as much as Tyler is saying that he doesn't think it's that big of a deal, I think it's a huge deal because I could turn around as a prosecutor and potentially argue that it's re-victimizing the victims, that he's going to go out and he's going to be living, free and potentially making these speaking engagements, making them feel unsafe. So, I mean, there's obviously good lawyers can argue both sides of the coin, but yeah, they're going to be looked at, but it's a balancing act.
By the way, Tyler, CNN is reporting that in court today, the judge has accepted that the range of 70 to 87 months, so we're talking about 5 to 7 years, that was recommended in the pre-sentencing report is appropriate, that there would be no reason to deviate from that. Also saying that the guidelines allow a fine of $25,000 to $250,000. He's going to prison? Is that what we're saying? He's going to prison for several years? Is that what we're saying, Tyler?
Well, it sounds like the court has indicated that he's going to jail. I think the sentencing guidelines here and the report that we received from probation clearly showed that. He hasn't given the sentence yet, but it seems like he's accepting the recommendation, and Mr. Combs is going to be spending some time in jail.
By the way, we got some commentary about this. In the federal prison system, do you have to serve 85% of the sentence before you're eligible for parole? How does it work? Do you know?
It depends. I do think he'll be eligible for early release with these two counts.
Interesting. All right. We got a super chat question, Sierra. I'm going to go to you. This is from Christina Lester. Second super chat question.
All right, let's go ahead and check out. Let's see here. Let us go back to Twitter. And let's refresh the page and see if there's any updates. I think there's still only one, but we'll read it anyway. Let's scroll down. Again, the prosecution is asking for 135 months, y'all. So just here you go. This was 31 minutes ago. AUSA, at least 35 months is necessary. So just so you understand, that's what they want. Okay. Let's continue on down. I read that part already. Okay, here's the last one. There is another case with 7 victims, no grouping enhancements applied. Defendant got 18 months, was released after 9 months. There's 18 CR-20376 from the SDFL. They generated $1.8 million and they got 15 months. All right. So the defense is trying to argue that, there's other, case studies or cases where guys actually made money off of prostitution and made money off of this kind of stuff, and they got less time than what AUSA is asking for. So they want 135 months. These guys are arguing that, there's other cases on the docket where these guys did stuff that was worse than what Diddy did, and they only got, 2 years, 3 years, etc. This one says he got 15 months. So again, they're trying to argue the amount of time that Diddy gets. All right. And of course, that's the defense. So that's their job, right? That's what they get paid to do. So we will continue on with law and crime.
From Christina Lester. Thank you so much. Has Sean Combs been subject to any drug testing while in jail?
Christina, this is such a good question because as we know now in P. Diddy himself, talking to the court, he says, I've been sober for the first time in decades. I've had, reform. I've learned a lot while I've been in jail.
Not a flex.
So the question mark here is, has he been subjected to drug tests?
Good.
Well, there's no definitive reporting on that. I think it's definitely possible. But what I will say is, if you recall, P. Diddy trying to make bail, not once, twice, 3 times, he kept going back, wanting to make bail over and over. And multiple times we reported it right here on Law and Crime, it was denied. However, what I do want to note is that Diddy himself offered when he was making these bids for bail, yeah, okay, I'll take drug tests weekly if that's something that you want to make sure that I'm sober. I'm willing to do that. So I think it's really interesting that when he was hoping to get bail, he said, I will do these drug tests voluntarily. Now he's saying he is sober. So has he been doing drug tests behind bars? Unclear, but I guess I would tend to believe that maybe he is sober based on his voluntary drug test that he said he would do.
So we got an update from court, okay? So the prosecutor is really hammering away at Sean Combs and the aggravated nature of this case. Prosecutor Slavic, the video from the LA hotel, we're talking about the Cassie video, was played many times at trial and it never got easier. As to Jane, he punched her, he slapped her a little over a year ago when he knew he was under federal investigation. At trial, they said they owned the violence. Admitting to violence in front of the jury as part of a trial strategy is not accountability. Freak-offs were extended performances of sexual degradation and humiliation. Cassie and Jane did not want to have sex with strangers. He made them do it. Sorry I have to say this, but
You know what? I wonder if he's reading the same transcript that I'm reading, bro. You wonder that? Is he reading this? Is he reading the Twitter files here, Mr. Inner City Press? I wonder. Now, there is an update. Let's refresh the page once again. Let's come back. All right. Sorry, y'all. He has all these entries in the same thread, so that's why I have to scroll down so far. All right. So you might want to close your eyes if that scrolling kind of gets on you, messes you up. Okay, here we go. In John's cases, the average sentence is 6.7 months. In this other case, the defendant texts the victim, "I meant what I said about making a mold of your, the rest of you ain't worth ish." Judge said, but there was no threat of violence in that case. The Combs lawyer said, "Ms. Slavic just blamed Mr. Combs for having a drug problem for 25 years. We think that is inappropriate. It is a mitigating factor. Let's talk about 13 CR 294, District of Oregon. The defendant paid for a session with a young girl, see docket 85. Now, I don't know what the hell that is, but again, the defense is trying to argue case law and other cases to bolster their argument that Diddy does not deserve to get a bunch of time. And well, I don't know if they're going to be successful in that, but they're trying to make their best argument as they're supposed to. The AUSA, I'm sure they're waiting for the defense to kind of get finished with their argument. But let's get back. Let's go back to Law and Crime.
But he had an escort urinate in Cassie's mouth until she choked. Her victim impact statement makes clear she still has nightmares and flashbacks and the scars on her body. Jane's text makes clear her anguish and trauma. Mia said she got PTSD and anxiety. Deontay Nash said he was caused lasting damage. Capricorn Clark says he blacklisted her once she spoke up. Chef Jordan Atkinson wrote how she was impacted. It was real and serious. So, Alexis, you take all that in mind. We have a question from Rosalba. Does the panel agree that the judge will want to add appropriate time for his rehabilitation because there's proof that he won't offend again? I mean, is there proof that he won't offend again? Is he a changed person from, this conduct that was mentioned, was illuminated during the course of this trial?
Great question. Listen, there's never proof that somebody is rehabilitated. I mean, the name of the game here at this sentencing is for, the defendant to say that, yeah, I'm rehabilitated, I'm a changed person, I'm going to move forward with my life in a whole different manner. Now, being in prison in jail is going to change you. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to change him for the better. He is, like you mentioned, Jesse, very charismatic. And, people tend to at least initially like him. So, I mean, I don't know if he's changed. In my opinion, I would say that he's not a change.
By the way, shout out to XL Pro Services. I appreciate you, man. You've been here. You one of my OGs. You've also been in my Instagram heavy. Appreciate that. And you also a Coach Game member. So, hey, man, I appreciate your support, by the way. Just give you a shout out, all right? So, hey, thank you very much, all right? Thank you.
I am not so sure that he's going to move through life as this quote-unquote saint. But proof, we can't have proof. It's not like we can do a lie detector test, and even if you did, that's not admissible as to whether he truly is changed. As well as he may think he's changed, in reality he's not.
Prosecutor Slavic, he downplays the abuse, calling it rare. It was not rare. Cassie's testimony was that he was violent with her at any time. It was not mutual. You saw no photos of the defendant with injuries. Here's a question for you, Tyler, as we're listening to this. You think the judge has already made up his mind?
Yep.
I don't think so. I think the judge is really going to do his due diligence to hear both sides here. I think he has an idea where he wants to land, but I think some facts could motivate on how far south or how far north he goes. So I think.
All right, we got some more updates. Let me go back to Twitter, refresh the page, scroll back down some more. By the way, like I said, like I always say, if you want to donate to the channel, you can hit the Cash App. You can hit the what's that called? Dadgum. You hit the I forgot the coffee link. It's in the description box, or you can hit the super chat, please. All links are in the description box, and of course, you know how to use the super chat. Let me scroll down here some more. Ko-Fi, that's what I meant to say. Ko-Fi. Let's go down some more. Okay, we got past the break. Okay, here we go. Combs, Distro, that his lawyer, Discro. That defense Riggs got 24 months. It was more heinous than this case. 3553A6 says to avoid unwarranted sentencing disparities. I've read all 900 Mann Act cases available on Pacer. His case is different. Judge, who's next? Miss Westmoreland. That is another one of Combs' lawyers. Here she goes. I want to focus on the inspiration that Combs has given throughout his life and on the commitment he made while in the MDC, that is the prison. Mr. Combs was successful, but he used it to help others. He touched many more lives than I can cover in the next minutes. Okay. So now he's going to, I guess the defense now is going to try to share how Mr. Combs has somehow, I guess, helped the people to bolster his defense, that he's not a risk, that if he's back into society, that he's to be a changed man, which most of us know he's probably not. But in any case, again, that's their job. Back to law and crime.
Judges do go to the bench and they listen to both sides and they make a decision that they believe strikes the middle of justice. And that's what their job is to do here, to find justice, which is more than just punishment. It's rehabilitating, it's deterring, and it's also taking in consideration what the victims want, but doing what's the right thing to do. And that's what the judge has to do.
Hey, Sierra, you've been following this case from the beginning. You talked about the supporters outside the courthouse. You've read a lot of these letters.
And by the way, sorry if I sound so nasally, but I kind of got a cold going on here. So if I sound like I got a cold going on. All right, so my apologies.
That were introduced to the court in anticipation of sentencing from family, from inmates. What is the main theme that you're seeing, the people who support Sean Combs or ask for leniency? What are they saying?
I think the main through line throughout all of this is that Diddy has learned his lesson. And I'm speaking on behalf of these letters of support for P. Diddy, basically saying he knows what he did was wrong. He learned his lesson. He's served his time so far for over the past year at MDC Brooklyn, and he's changed. This was a mistake. He is different now. And of course, talking about all the positive attributes that he has. I mean, there's a reason we're talking about P. Diddy today, because he's famous. And how did he become famous? Well, he was very talented at what he did. He was very charismatic. He was very charming. And I do think that he wooed a lot of people in terms of both the public as a celebrity. People liked to listen to his music or drink his alcohol or wear his clothes. But additionally, the people closest to him too, they say he's a great guy. They say that he is a positive person, that he's a role model. I mean, that video that was submitted, it was interesting to see the positive relationship that he had with his family. And once again, this is something that we've seen consistently at court.
By the way, you know that Diddy actually, let me go back to my main camera here. Do you know that Diddy actually, last night or yesterday, he did a letter that he wanted to play to the courts. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
As we
wait a minute,
come on the air tonight, we do have.
Let me play this for you. You did a letter to the courts. Listen to this.
And good evening. As we come on the air tonight, we do have some breaking news. On the eve of his sentencing, Sean Diddy Combs, the fallen music mogul, writing a federal judge pleading for mercy. He writes in part, I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. He apologized to two of the women who accused him of abuse, including Cassie Ventura, who he assaulted. This as prosecutors are asking for an 11-year prison sentence for Combs after he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Laura Jarrett joins us now live in studio. Laura, you have the letter right there, and he makes it very clear he's asking the judge to be let go to his family right now.
Tom, it's a pretty striking letter. Combs in his own.
Now listen to this, y'all. He's gonna be like, oh man, he wants to get out. Like, you know what? I've been here for 2 years and prison has broke me. He's trying to play this like, you know what, the little time he's been in prison has just been life-changing. Just listen to this.
Own words saying he realizes he's in a situation where no amount of money or fame can save him. He writes this, I have been humbled and broken to my core. Jail is designed to break you. There have been some days I thought I would be better off dead. He goes on to say, Tom, that he lost everything from his businesses to time with his children. He's a single father. He also apologizes notably to the women who prosecutors say he abused. He says that video, that infamous video of him abusing Cassie plays over in his head daily. I literally lost my mind. He says he's a changed man. He says he's sober for the first time in 25 years. He will have an opportunity to address the court there tomorrow. Remember, of course, his lawyers are asking for just 14 months. Prosecutors asking for far greater, 11 years behind bars. He was acquitted of the charges, though, of course, that could have kept him behind bars for the rest of his lifetime.
And that sentencing tomorrow, we will be covering it live right here on NBC. All right, Laura, we thank you. We thank you.
I'm going to see if I'm going to try to find that letter, but in the meantime, we'll go back to law and crime.
All of his family, his mother, his children supporting him. And in that video, there's, images, of him with his family, showing him being a dad. They're saying he is a dad. He is a good person. They also talked about him running, which is interesting because he's, been a runner historically in the past, saying that he's dedicated to things that are bigger than himself. And so those letters of support, it's really things like that, saying he has changed. He's not going to do it again. He's a good person and he deserves to be out with his family.
You look at the letter from Sean Combs that was submitted to the court, and maybe something that will be, echoed in his statement to the court. He says, this is to the judge, I ask you for mercy today, not only for my sake, but for the sake of my children. God bless me with 7 beautiful children. I have failed my children as a father. I just want the opportunity to return home and be the father that they need and deserve. You do wonder if that's going to have an impact on the judge. We have some questions coming in. Alexis, I go to you. This is from Ambitious One. Assume Combs is sentenced.
All right, y'all. So I found the letter. Hold on. I found the letter. Let me do this from Complex. Copy link. All right. Let me go back to my main camera for a second while I cue this up. I found it. The working man is on the case. Let's see here. Let me scroll to the letter. All right. Okay. All right, let's go. This is from Complex on Instagram. Let me read this letter to y'all while we wait for some updates on the case. Here we go. Dear this is to Honorable Judge Arn Samaranian, United States District Judge, Southern District of New York, October 2nd, which was yesterday. Dear Judge Samaranian, I hope this letter finds you well and in good health and spirits. I thank you for the opportunity to express my thoughts to you. First and foremost, I want to apologize and say how sincerely sorry I am for all the hurt and pain that I have caused others by my conduct. I take full responsibility and accountability for my past wrongs. This has been the hardest 2 years of my life, and I have no one to blame for my current reality and situation but myself. In my life, I have made many mistakes, but I'm no longer running from them. I am so sorry for the hurt that I have caused, but I understand that mere words, I'm sorry, will never be good enough, as these words alone cannot erase the pain from the past. Over the past 13 months, I have had to look in the mirror like never before. My pain became my teacher. My sadness was my motivator. I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness. The scene and images of me assaulting Cassie play over and over in my head daily. I literally lost my mind. I was dead wrong for putting my hands on the woman that I loved. I am sorry for that, and I always will be. My domestic violence will always be a heavy burden that I will have to forever carry. The remorse, the sorrow, the regret, the disappointment, the shame. I honestly feel sorry for something that I couldn't forgive someone else for. For if they put their hands on one of my daughters, this is why it is so hard for me to forgive myself. It is like a deep wound that leaves an ugly scar. Your Honor, I thought I was providing for Jane concerning her and her child, but after hearing the testimony, I realized that I hurt her. For this, I am deeply sorry. I lost my way. I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the excess. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core. Jail is designed to break you mentally, physically, and spiritually. Over the past year, there have been so many times that I want to give up. There have been some days I thought I would be better off dead. The old me died in jail and the new version of me was reborn. Prison will change you or delete you. I choose to live. Next page. This is good. Every day since my incarceration, as difficult as my circumstances currently are, I have made the best of my time by reading books, writing, and working out, or in therapy, obtaining the tools and knowledge to deal with my past drug abuse and anger issues. I have been putting in the work and working diligently to become the best version of myself to ensure that I never make the same mistakes again. I realize that I am in a situation where no amount of money, power, or fame can save me. Only God can save me. My grandmother used to teach me that God makes no mistakes and that everything he does is for your good. I believe that a bad situation can be used for good. Although the situation has been the hardest and darkest times of my life, good things have come out of my incarceration. For starters, I am now sober for the first time in 25 years. Please, y'all stop saying that. He said, you're sober for the first time in 25 years. Great, but you should have been sober the whole time, right? Yeah. I've been trying my best to deal with my drug abuse and anger issues and take accountability as well as positive steps toward healing. One of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced is being asked by my fellow inmates to teach and mentor them. They wanted to learn what I did to become a successful businessman. I was inspired by their hunger and desire. Wait a minute, I lost my place. Their desire to learn information in order to not only set goals, but achieve any goal dream that their hearts desire. I started teaching a 6-week program called Free Game. The title was given by my fellow inmates, which I was able to have approved and sanctioned by the Bureau of Prisons. I don't just teach about my success, I also teach about my mistakes and failures. It has truly been a blessing to do something positive in a negative situation. Where are we at? It has been beautiful to see the newfound hope in my fellow inmates' eyes. Most shocking thing was to see the unity and peace this class has produced. As you are probably aware, jails and prisons are segregated places. However, in our class, we have Black, Spanish, white, and Asian all together in one room learning and working together. We even have an interpreter for the Spanish-speaking inmates. The biggest miracle that I've seen with this class is all of the gangs such as Bloods, Crips, MS-13s, Trinitarios, and 18th Streets in one room working together. I am also proud to say that since this class started, there have been no fights in our unit. This class has also helped me in my time of need and despair. Being able to do something good for others has also given me much needed hope. God blessed me with this opportunity to help others, and I will continue to do so. I ask for your mercy today, not only for my sake, but for the sake of my children. God blessed me with 7 beautiful children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. The names are Quincy, Justin, Tristan, Chance, Jesse, Delia, and the newest addition, a 2-year-old daughter, Love. 4 of my children lost their mother, Kim Porter, as she tragically passed away in 2018 under suspicious circumstances. I am their only parent. I have failed my children as a father. My father was deleted when I was 3 years old, so I know firsthand what it is to not have a father. More than anything, I just want the opportunity to return home and be the father that they needed and, next page, deserve. Well, my dad died when I was 2 and I'm not in court for all this stuff, right? God also blessed me with the greatest mother in the world. My mother sacrificed her life and dreams to provide for me and my younger sister, Keisha. She worked 3 jobs to make sure we had a roof over our heads, clothes on our back, and the best education. My mother's now 84 years old, and she recently had brain surgery, despite her own health challenges. Wait a minute. Challenges. She attended my trial every day. I have always been her primary caregiver. It breaks my heart that I put myself in this situation for the first time. I am unable to be there for my mother when she needs me the most. As I write you this letter, I am scared to death, scared to spend another second away from my mother and my children. I no longer care about the money or the fame. There is nothing more important to me than my family. I understand the one factor the court has to consider is deterrence. Deterrence for me and for others to ensure that no one follows my footsteps and makes the same mistakes. For over a year, I've been locked in a room with 25 other incarcerated people sharing the same one room. Now, I won't continue on this because it's getting boring, but y'all see this, right? I'll go to Complex and Complex Music. They have this, right? Today, I humbly ask you for another chance today to be a better father, another chance to be a better son, another chance to be a better leader in my community, and another chance to live a better life. I am writing this not to gain any sympathy or pity. This experience is simply the truth of my existence, and it's changed my life forever, and I will never commit a crime again. Thank you for your time and consideration, Sean Puffy Combs. Now let's go back to law and crime.
The 5 or 7 years. If an appeal is granted, would bail then be granted based solely on the charges now being under the Mann Act?
So let's say that he is sentenced to a decent amount of time and then the appeal goes up and it is granted. There would most likely be a new trial that would be ordered to happen. And I don't think that the judge, under the circumstance, is going to release him, when that happens. I think he would still.
All right, we got Twitter updates. Let me go to the page. We got Twitter updates. Hold on, take the fair use down. Back to Twitter. All right. Refresh the page, of course, once again. All right, let me scroll down. Scroll down. Replies. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Down some more. Where were we? Okay. Combs, Westmoreland, the lawyer. There were not many black-owned labels. Mr. Combs had the audacity. It sent a message that you can do it. Clothing, too. It was not just urban streetwear. It was upscale. It brought unity. It inspired change. In spirits, our community finally had a seat at the table, a voice, a real voice. Then there was revolt, and I guess someone is crying. That's what it says, sobs. He's just trying to help. He opened 3 charter schools in neighborhoods where the schools were not good. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. The motto was Black excellence. The youth are our future. Mr. Combs personally inspired me. I went to an event in D.C. Now, he's opened 3 schools and Umar Johnson has opened 1, but that's neither here nor there. They're continuing on. Back to law and crime.
Stay incarcerated. It would be potentially the same charges. It's what happens at the appellate level and what the appellate level determines needs to happen. So it's hard to say, but most likely, if he even won the appeal for whatever reason, he would be recharged or there would be a new trial with the same charges.
Interesting you asked that question. We get great questions from our viewers. But Tyler, got a question now from Tricia Lancaster who asks, could he be retried for the charges he wasn't convicted of if new evidence comes to light?
No, he can't be retried. That's double jeopardy. He's already been acquitted of those charges that he wasn't convicted of, so he won't stand trial for those again.
By the way,
Even
great movie.
He can't be charged with those same charges.
You ever see the movie Fracture? Great movie. I encourage everybody to check it out. Talk about double jeopardy and what can be introduced. Just encourage everybody to check it out. It's a really good one. All right. So we have a poll up. What's next for Diddy? 32% say who cares, 28% say total cancellation, 22% a rebrand and quiet return, 18% say business as usual. Sierra, we talked about this before, about what can we expect from Diddy, depending upon the sentence and if he's released. What do you make of that poll?
I think the poll is interesting. The fact that majority say who cares is interesting to me, and maybe it's just exhaustion, right? We've all been doing this for so long. There are so many civil lawsuits, plus all of the federal side of things. But in addition to the other half of the poll, the cancellation, or maybe he'll come quietly, from what I know about Diddy, I don't know of him being quiet. That's not really something that he does. He goes big or he goes home. And in this case, I think that Diddy will want to speak whenever that may be. I don't think he's going to go anywhere quietly. And again, this is just my personal opinion in all of this. But again, why are we talking about Diddy? It's because he is this charismatic celebrity, and he let us inside of his life prior to all of this. I mean, when we're talking about white parties, I remember being a young girl in Wisconsin reading through Us magazine or, People, and seeing photos of the white parties. Diddy did show us part of his life. Now, maybe not necessarily everything that happened behind closed doors, but thanks to the trial that happened in the courthouse behind me, we now kind of know. So at this point, what does Diddy have to lose? He's already been convicted. I do think he's going to come out and tell his side of the story, and I don't think it's going to be quietly.
By the way, I was reading through People magazine too when I was younger. I don't know why. I just thought it was fascinating. I was very interested. It was the whole Brangelina moment. I was really invested in that. All right, side note. Okay, anyway, excuse me. Update from court. We have a prosecutor, Slavic, says he blames doctors for prescriptions. He pretends he is the victim. He hasn't accepted responsibility for his criminal conduct. The information provided to his expert was incomplete. He will pose a danger at any age. He choked Jane at 54 years old. Prostitution causes other problems. It happens out of public view. General deterrence is needed. Send a message to all victims and to the public that this defendant's crimes are serious. You could encourage or discourage abusers. There seems to be a big point here, Alexis, of trying to explain why this is a crime, why this is serious, and why the appropriate sentence needs to be several years in prison. Because again, I go back to something. There are people who look at this and say, compared to what he was being accused of, prostitution? But the government is doubling down on it.
I agree, Jesse. I mean, this case, as we discussed at great length, was a difficult case because you had a situation where some of this, not the violent part, but the sexual part appeared at some level to be consensual. And then you had a relationship going on. So I think the prosecution is trying to hammer down that we have a situation that we had this, prostitution coupled with this very elevated violence, and that these victims that were part of this have been severe.
Do you think Diddy will take legal actions on everyone that accused him?
Great question. I think that after this case is wrapped up and he's either sentenced or is ultimately released and back out in the community, I think he's going to handle his civil actions that are pending. There might be some countersuits with respect to those actions, but I think that he's also just going to be prepared to move on with his life, move on with his family, and try to rebuild his brand. Okay, update from court. So now, as I mentioned, it's Sean Combs' defense team's turn to raise their arguments for a lenient sentence, and Jason Driscoll's up. Says, I'm grateful, Your Honor, to you being so permissive with the microphone for us today. I'm going to talk about sentencing disparities. A blind reliance on the guidelines can create disparities. So seemingly trying to convince the judge not to follow what the guidelines are. The DOJ has long said that Mann Act prosecutions should focus on the commercial cases. Sean Combs did not make a penny from this. The Jordan case, it's not comparable. He served 8 years in Cuba for sex crimes. This was his second chance. Jordan made $1.4 million. Do you know who many sex acts that is? He had over 100 clients. Mr. Combs' offense is nothing like that. 3 of Jordan's victims reported unwanted sex. 1 was raped after being drugged. We'll talk about these arguments more. But I want to go to you, Dr. Hendricks, because this is interesting. You and I were talking about
One of the key factors that you imagine the defense is going to be talking about here is, by the way, it's such an awkward shot with my computer, but hey, this is the best we can do right now. Anyway, one of the things that he's going to be focusing on is how he's been helping inmates. He's been teaching them, providing courses. You say there's an interesting aspect of it that might not actually benefit Sean Combs.
Right. Individuals, other than the jail time credit they can garner based on the sentence they get, they can also get up to 10 days a month for first step back classes that they take. However, Mr. Combs,
change the camera to the guys talking.
Courses, he can't benefit from the first step back credits because of the sex crimes that he's been convicted of.
Who's working the camera on this?
If he's actually facilitating these courses, it would be very interesting to see if the judge takes.
All right, we got some more updates. Let's go back to Twitter. Do the refresh. We'll scroll down some more and see what the updates are. I'm surprised you can get all this in the same thread. Wow. Wish I could have this automatically update, but I cannot. Okay, changed my life. Mr. Combs is just a man, and he's made some mistakes. He has flaws like we all do, but how many of us can say that we've helped so many lives, countless lives? He's been in jail, and he's remorseful. I spend every day speaking with him. In the MDC, Mr. Combs started asking people their dreams. That's how free game for Diddy was born. Remember the class from his letter he was talking about? No one's done this in the MDC before. Okay. Let us continue back to law and crime. That is a latest update.
That into consideration that he's willing to do something for his fellow inmates that he won't even be able to benefit for himself.
And to be clear, if he's sentenced, let's say, to 5 to 7 years in prison, how long would he actually serve?
He is going to serve 85% of that.
85% of that, okay.
And minus the jail credit, the 3585B1 credit that he's getting based on the time he's already served. So he's not going to be eligible for any additional time off.
Okay, I go to Sierra Gillespie. Sierra, you're outside the courthouse right now. Paint a picture for us what you're seeing. I mean, a lot has changed in the last 2 hours in terms of what's been happening in that courtroom, where the judge might be going. What's the scene like right now?
There was a lot of interest about what's going on today, so much so that our reporter Elizabeth Milner, who is inside the courtroom right now, she got here at 6:30 this morning just to make sure that she could secure a seat inside because, of course, we want to make sure, as there are no cameras inside a federal court, that someone's in there, and it is Elizabeth Milner, so she'll be out later to give us more info. But that just goes to show you how many people are interested in what we have going on right now, that lines were forming even yesterday. As far as what's happening right now, of course you have reporters like myself lining up and down the streets. We've got cameras, we've got lights, people from CNN, ABC, all of the major players, including, of course, Law and Crime. And then across the street from me, a sizable crowd. Now, throughout the live stream that we've had today, I've heard a lot of things. I mean, I've heard cheering from people. I've heard yelling. There are, of course, people here who aren't even talking about Diddy. For instance, I've seen the Free Britney movement here once again. There are people talking about, politics and things like that. But as far as Diddy, there does seem to be a contingency of supporters for both the survivors and for Diddy himself.
And I'm very curious to see how that crowd changes as we even get, nearer to where a sentence might be. We don't have an indication of when that may happen. More people need to speak. There's more that the judge needs to consider. But as we get closer to the official sentence, that.
All right, we have another update here because Combs, I think his son is about to speak. Let me go back to Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I keep saying Twitter. It'll be Twitter forever in my mind, but let's refresh. Scroll back down. Here we go. Here we go. More. Here we go. All right. Combs Moreland, there is no benefit to warehousing Mr. Combs in prison. Thank you. Judge, Mr. Steele. The lawyer says we wanted his children to come up, then show the video. Judge says, please come forward. My name is Quincy Brown. He is my father. So his son is about to speak soon. He's at the podium. I guess he's going to give his spiel. So I'll wait for the updates.
Crowd outside that courthouse with what Sierra's seeing could change drastically. Going to you, Safa. We've got a super chat question from Joanne the Genius. Spells it Jenius. I like that. I like that a lot. I may actually use that later on. Safa, so first of all, thank you so much for the super chat question. If Diddy is sentenced and he appeals, will the appeal be heard in front of Judge Arun Subramanian once again?
Closed doors. But now with this trial, with everything seemingly out in the open, it does, to your point in that poll we spoke about earlier, change the course of public opinion in regards to P. Diddy and the allegation and now conviction that he has. So I guess it remains to be seen what sort of reaction Diddy himself, Sean Combs, will have when this sentence is handed down. As for what's going on right here, I've seen a little bit of everything. Earlier throughout this live stream today, I've heard multiple people running up and down the street yelling, "Free Diddy." So there are still supporters here for P. Diddy. Additionally, I just saw a man moments ago who came over live streaming and said, "I've been watching Law and Crime. I love you guys." So you know we have people here who are watching our live stream down at the courthouse supporting what we're talking about here.
I'm watching too.
It's an interesting juxtaposition of emotions here on both sides.
I want to get 2 quick points from both my guests before I have to sign them off. Sierra's going to stay with us, of course. So there's an update here, Dr. Hendricks, from court, Nicole Westmoreland. There is no benefit to warehousing Mr. Combs in prison. Thank you. Judge asked Mr. Steele. Mr. Steele says, Brian Steele, one of his defense attorneys, we wanted his children to come up, then show the video. Judge says, please come forward. My name is Quincy Brown. He's my father. So we're about to hear from Quincy Brown.
Yes,
no benefit to warehousing Mr. Combs in prison?
Well, I mean, of course, the defense is going to say that because, you know, they don't want their client to be behind bars. So, I mean, that, but in terms of him, you know, being held accountable for his actions, and the judge is going to have to make that decision.
All right, let's get back to Twitter because his son has some things to say. Let's go back to X. Okay, fresh. All right, some more. Here we go. Quincy Brown, he is transformed. He will not jeopardize his freedom again as his children wish to heal together. My name is Justin. Okay, now Justin comes up, his other son. I ask you to give my father a second chance. My father is my superhero. My father always told me to believe in God. I talk to my father every day, every other hour. All right, so that's Quincy. Now Justin. Now here comes Christian. I am Christian Combs. I am the one who most resemble my pops. My mannerism. My whole life I studied my dad up and down. He is the greatest man in the world. My superhero. Okay. So that's 3 of his children, his boys. And I believe he has 4 girls, like he said. Let me see. Let me update here on my phone and see if he said anything else. Like, I assume all his children are going to speak, and then probably his mother, too, if she is able to. Scroll back down here. Okay, nope, just my superhero. So we'll go back to Law and Crime.
That's why they have the high responsibility of being a federal judge, is that they are going to be able to measure all of the information based on the evidence, based on criminal history, based on what he can bring to the table in the community later on in his life. And ultimately, that judge is going to have to make that decision. So, but I'm not surprised that his defense attorney said there's no public benefit from it. So, I mean, and that's a question for a lot of different individuals who are incarcerated. But ultimately,
and I know some of y'all are going in and out of the stream. So if you will, please, if you're in here, if you've been in and out, don't forget to hit the like button. Of course, again, you can contribute financially if you want to the stream or to the channel by hitting the Cashapp, $, Mr. Norman. You can hit the Ko-Fi, or you can hit the super chat, or just by viewing and hitting the like button. Like I said, leaving a comment here in the chat. All donations and support is greatly appreciated.
He's going to have to take responsibility for his actions, and it may include some jail time.
They're moving pretty quickly, Safa, through these statements from family. Quincy Brown says, This is his son. He is transformed. He will not jeopardize his freedom again. As his children, we wish to heal together. Next up, my name is Justin Combs. I ask you give my father a second chance. My father is my superhero. My father always told me to believe in God. I talked.
He's definitely reading from the Twitter, but we got some more updates. Let's see here. We got some more updates. Right. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, go back. Too fast. Come on, really? Okay. This thread is so long. It's taking so long to freaking update. Okay. Christian Combs, to end his statement, he told me to treat women like a queen, and I do. I see in his eyes as his twin that he has changed. Here's the next one, his daughter. Next, my name is Jesse Combs. I am 18 years old. Crying. When my mother died, I was just a little girl. I remember my dad sitting us down. Okay. This is probably going to get a little touchy. Let me go back to Law and Crime because we had more update away from some more updates. Wait a minute, that's not. Did I close that out? Oh, crap, I closed out by accident. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. Let me get Law and Crime back up. I closed it up by mistake. I need to get it back up. Pause. Okay. Law and Crime, where you at? Law and Crime. Here we go. Law and Crime. All right. Is that the same one? They must have cut out all the commentary stuff because it doesn't sound the same now. Let me go back up here, see what they're doing live. Okay, they must have cut back. Only been on 3 hours ago. Okay. All right, well, we cut back to it. I guess they're cutting back outside to the. Here we go. Let me make it a little bigger. Let's cut back. The inner city press. I knew it. I knew it. They're listening to. They're getting quotes from inner city press like everybody else is. Amazing. All right. Let's see if we got any more updates. All right, we do have more updates. Let's go back. Refresh. All right. Because all the children are going to speak, and I guess after that, they're going to play the video. So let's go down some more here. Okay, next is, Jesse Combs, she's continuing to speak. It helped me survive when I just wanted my mom. Next, my name is Chance Combs, his daughter. That's Chance, the daughter? Okay, wow. He's changed as she's crying. Sorry, he speaks with a cleared mind. Next, my name is Dela Combs. We watched our 2-year-old sister. She cannot grow up fatherless. All right, they're talking about the little one, the newborn, the new addition to the family. Okay, wow. Okay. Let's continue on. Let's see here. Scroll down some more. See if they got any more updates. I'm checking my phone right now to see if they got any more updates. Again, as you all are coming in and coming out, make sure you hit the like button. Contribute to the stream, please. Whichever way you can, monetarily or by viewing. Make sure you contribute. All right, we'll go back to the courtroom for now. So I assume, as the defense was saying, they were going to let all his children speak, and then they're going to play the video. So I just remembered that. I believe all his children have spoke because the seventh one is an infant. So 6 of the children have spoken. I assume now they're going to play this, I guess, this video of his defense. So I assume that's what they're doing at this moment. All right, we got another update, and I think this might be a good one. Let's go back to X. I think they got a video. We're gonna play the video if it's up there. Okay, refresh, because D-Love was making her last little bit of commentary before they play the video. So let me go back. Go back. All right. Let's see here. More. I gotta click. Doggone it. What the? Okay. Jeez. Fat fingered that. Come on. Really? Okay. Let's go back. I gotta reset. Doggone it. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to rush through the scrolling, but there's so much in this thread that if I did it slow, it would take a long time to get to the bottom of it. I did it again. Okay. Take your time, Mr. Fury. Take your time. Okay. We're at the bottom. Show replies. Scroll down. Okay. My name is Deela Combs. We watched our 2-year-old sister. She cannot grow up fatherless. Your Honor, please, as she's crying, let us move forward, not as a headline, but as a family. Judge says, thank you all. This is important for me to hear. Combs' lawyer, Mr. Steele, says we would like to show you the movie. I believe this is the movie that Sean Combs wants everybody to see, so we're going to play it right now live. Let's watch.
What you've given to the world, I don't think you know, man.
By the way, shout out to Inner City Press if you ever see this.
When my baby cries.
You gotta give her a bottle then. Know that you mean something to people. Know that you mean something to people. Like you live somewhere in people's heart.
My nose fell off. No, my lip fell off.
Thank you. You hear it? You inspire, you energize, and you've left that for the rest of the existence of this planet, man.
One thing about great producers is they make you want to do better and be better about what you do. And he made me feel like I could do anything and go anywhere.
From New York. I love New York. I love the city of New York. I love the children of New York. I wanted to do something good. I wanted to get my generation in the hip-hop community behind us. They come through in a big way. And we wanted to raise some money for the children of New York City for health and education. We have a huge education crisis. And, you know, this is just a start. It's something we're going to be committed to. I'm going to be committed to for a lifetime. And it's no better way than taking it to the streets. It's a beautiful city, running all around. The city's going to be painful. It's going to be rough. But, you know, if we get through it, then it'll show kids and everybody else that, you know, finish what you started and you can do anything you put your mind to. Any of y'all go to public school?
Yes.
Okay, y'all running to raise money for your schools. So y'all get more books and computers and stuff like that.
Now, I'm pausing because, as I can tell here, this is an 11-minute video. So this is going to take a long time. So, of course, I'm going to pause in between for copyright purposes to make sure this video, that my live stream doesn't get, popped for copyright, which it hasn't so far. So, great.
I feel like it's important that us, young adults of power, that we look out for y'all. And we utilize our power to make sure y'all all right in the future. Put everything you can into your work, you know. Don't think the cool thing is not to do your work. Don't think the cool thing is to hang on the corner with your friends and to talk about stuff that ain't gonna protect your future.
What did you learn about him as a man who was taking up a new sport?
Well, you know, I was actually very impressed. You know, a lot of people think it's just a celebrity stunt, that he isn't serious about his running. He is as serious about his running, has been the last 9 weeks, as a lot of these guys in the lead pack. I mean, he's really devoted and dedicated himself to running. You know, he's had some knee problems, and a lot of people don't think he's going to finish. He is going to finish, even if he has to do it on one leg, because he's raised a lot of money for kids' charities, and he's not going to let all those people down.
Let's go. Well, we're going straight to the top, baby. Let's go is a constant reminder. Let's go. Boom. Live in the present. Sometimes, you know, you're daydreaming. Sometimes, you know, Uncle Diddy got to hit you with let's go.
Clap it up on the sideline. Get our energy right. Come on.
To make sure that you're pursuing your dream, that you're staying focused. Let's go. Let's keep going forward. Let's go means let's be positive. Let's take it up another notch. Let's go spend time with our kids. Let's go. Let's give thanks to God. Let's go. You know, let's turn it up. Let's get in the vocal booth. Let's stop procrastinating. Let's go. You know, let's understand what it's going to take to achieve that dream. So instead of talking about the guns and the violence, I was always talking about a better life. Places we didn't go before. Things we never wore. Cars we never drove. Houses we never lived in. I think I brought an aspiration to hip-hop. Tried to take it out of just being street. Our whole stuff was a fantasy and a dream that I always felt would come true.
Also let the record show that the whole time he was, you know, doing all these acts of, you know, charity and philanthropy, that he was also engaging in, you know, freak offs and putting his hands on women, things like that. So, yeah.
I started out just like you guys. I come from New York. I grew up in Harlem. I used to have to wear a uniform every day. Had to get up early in the morning, had to travel to go to school. I worked hard, just like you guys are working. This country and this world we live in may have planned for y'all. I didn't listen to that, and I don't want y'all to listen to it either. Y'all are great. Y'all are kings. Y'all are queens. Y'all are leaders. I just got so excited because this is truly a dream come true for me. And I'm happy to say this is our third school we have opened. It's official. When we come together as a people, nothing can stop us. But what I want to do with my freedom is, you know, make sure that I can make change.
And I found out that Mr. Sean Diddy Combs posted me on Instagram.
We met Sean Diddy Combs for the first time, and Sean gave Trey a $25,000 grant, which allowed us to open a physical store.
Revolt, as one of the only Black-owned networks, we have to own something. We have to have something that's ours. We have to have something that we can control our narrative, and we could speak about things that are important to us, and we could have a platform and a foundation to be free.
But I want to get advice from y'all. I want to not just have a one-way conversation.
We need a platform where they can put artists that are different, really different, that we can get a shot on other stations.
Working for Revolt TV and working for Diddy was absolutely life-changing. It was the best job I've ever had. I learned excellence through him.
I don't see enough things truly changing. And I don't understand how we are the richest, most powerful country in the world, and it seems like we can't solve the problems within our own community.
African American communities are last. And the only people that are going to change that is us. So we have to stand strong together, and we have to get to that change.
You will change the world.
I've been to hell,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna make it.
you're gonna make it, that's right. Now I got something for you. Remember I told you I had a present for you?
Yeah. I ain't that pretty.
This is a heart, because you my heart.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
You my heart.
Okay.
May God bless you and keep you happy and keep you thinking positive. Everything's not going to be perfect at this time in life. And you're a good person that understands reality. So we're gonna accentuate the positives in life. Because you're doing great, girl. You're doing great.
God knows.
You know what I'm saying? You're doing great. I want you to be happy about your life. You're doing great. We got a lot of living to do now. We got a lot of living to do. Don't have me come behind me. I'll be taking you everywhere. You'll be going everywhere.
Hang out together.
Okay, what's your
When
name?
you were a little boy, Jeannie Ned.
Okay, Jeannie.
Yeah, you just keep hanging in there.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm telling you right now, you did a great job. I'm wrapping my head around and meeting you and also telling you did a great job at the same time.
That means
So
a lot.
pleasure to meet
That
you.
means a lot.
I'd rather at the end of the day be the one standing there with you was the best person. You made us feel the best as a person. How old are you?
2.
How old are you?
2.
2. Yo, 2. That's 2.
My name is Pookie the Bird. Pookie.
Happy birthday. Wash your hands, because we're going to be shuffling it up. Yeah, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, God.
Today, God is the greatest. He blessed me and my girlfriend Kim and the world with 2 beautiful baby girls.
We have breaking news to tell you about now. Model and actress Kim Porter, who shares 3 children with Sean Diddy Combs, has been found dead.
She just loved me unconditionally, you know? She just loved me. Just for me. It's like the closest you could be like with a person.
Again, let the record show that while he was with Kim Porter, that he was also with other women. So while this was a tragic incident, he was also doing nefarious things during the time that they were together, and while at the time that she passed. So let's also keep that in mind.
I get to thinking about her, and I go to crying about her.
Today, now I'm a full-time dad, and I'm going to be there for you through everything, all of y'all. Every Sunday, I got to slow everything down and do the family ritual, get the family together, make sure the girls are watching church.
There is a definition of grace that is more.
Pops, I love you. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for inspiring. I've looked up to you and admired you outside of you just being my father, just you being just a great human being, a kind human being. I love how you inspire me to keep going, to never stop following my dreams, to always believe in myself.
See a foot, but in that middle part.
I wanted to tell you how much I love you, how much I care for you. Thank you for being so supportive of me and my siblings' dreams, for always encouraging us to go for whatever we want.
We love you. We can't wait to make more memories with you. Just like thank you for everything you do for us. Yes. And I want you to know that you're loved more than you think.
I had to pick this trophy. I want the best person trophy. But I know in order for me to get into heaven, I'm not going to get in there, well, come on in heaven, you had 20 hit records. That don't mean nothing, and that's what this world is for. they're gonna say, oh, come on in heaven, you was a nice person. I love you.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. Love you so much.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh, hi, Daddy. That was kind of sweet. But we have one more update, y'all. So let's go back to Inner City Press. And then we'll take a break. And I'll play Long Crime while we're on a break, all right? Let me refresh. Because the court is on a break at this moment till 2 o'clock. So I believe that's when the ruling will be given. So I will also break and I'll put Long Crime on and I'll interject here and there so that way I don't get the copyright strike. All right, let's go down some more. Scroll down some more till we get to here. And we'll scroll down some more. Let's see. Okay, here we go. That was the video. Also, wait a minute. They played the video right here. Now, here we go. 1:10 p.m. video is over. Judge Steele, who will be speaking next, Combs said that Reverend Dr. Johnson, which I guess is his church person or whatever, his reverend, then the man from the re-entry program, if you permit. Judge said, any more lawyers? Steele says, myself, then Mr. Donaldson. Judge says we will resume at 2 p.m. All right? So that's when we resume. So we're going to go back to Law and Crime. We're going to take a break because there's really nothing else to say at this moment. All right? So here we go. Law and Crime. That's it? Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay. So they're on a break right now. So we will, I guess, y'all get y'all drinks and everything. Get your libations, like Umar Johnson said, and we will return at 2 o'clock. But I'm going to keep it going. We ain't going to stop the live. So continue to watch. Oh, and by the way, if I see any more better commentary, I will plug it in during the live stream, all right?
All right, welcome back, everybody. Our live coverage here on Long Crime of Sean Diddy Combs sentencing continues. I'm Jesse Weber, and thank you so much for joining us. We still do not know the sentence for Sean Combs after he was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, moving people across state lines, international lines, for the purposes of sex work. This includes the victims, Cassie Ventura and Jane. But we kind of got a hint. The judge earlier on, Judge Arun Subramanian, said that he does not see a reason to deviate from the sentencing guidelines of about 5 to 7 years in prison. Is that a definitive answer as to what he's going to do? No, because what are we seeing right now? It's the defense's turn to put kind of mitigating evidence forward, to ask for leniency. And that, by the way, I've said this before, I'll say it again. That's what makes this sentencing hearing so interesting. We have no idea what the exact sentence will be. There's no pro forma mandatory sentence. There's a range here. Defense was asking for 14 months, basically asking for him to be released from the MDC immediately. The prosecution was asking for 11 years in prison. Are we going to get that? But the defense right now is calling Sean Combs' family members to provide statements to the court. I mentioned before that Justin and Quincy had made statements. Christian Combs has just told the court, which is interesting considering what Sean Combs was convicted of. He told me to treat women like a queen, and I do. I see in his eyes as his twin that he has changed. Next up, my name is Jessie Combs, and I'm 18 years old. Apparently, she's crying as she's giving this statement. When my mother died, I was just a little girl. I remember my dad sitting us down. It helped me survive when I just wanted my mom. My name is Chance Combs, his daughter. He's changed. She's crying as well. He speaks with a clear mind. My name is Delilah Combs. We watch our 2-year-old sister. She cannot grow up fatherless. Your Honor, please let us move forward, not as a headline, but as a family. She's crying as well. Judge says, thank you all. This is important for me to hear. Brian Steele, Sean Combs' defense attorney, says, we would like to show the movie. So there was a movie that was prepared, this compilation of, we'll play it here as B-roll. We can't play the audio due to copyright reasons, but Sean Combs' life, his career, the work that he's done for the community. It's interesting seeing this as we talk about what impact this will have on the judge. It's up to his discretion about what the sentence will be here. But I'm here right now with prison consultant Justin Paperny. I'm here with litigator Rich Schoenstein, trial attorney. And I'm also here with Sierra Gillespie, who is outside that federal courthouse. And by the way, Elizabeth Milner is inside in that courtroom as well. We'll get to her later. Rich, I'll start with you. Do you think this is going to have an impact on the judge?
No. You're asking about the video? I think the video would have a negative impact on the judge. I don't think this video is for the judge. I think the video is for the public. I think the video is for his fans. I think the video is for his supporters and people who have an interest who are going to see it on the news or on social media. That video, from the perspective of influencing the judge, to me, is a negative. I don't think that video is what he wanted to give to the judge. The letter that he submitted was a decent effort to persuade the judge. I believe the letter was for the judge and the video was for the public.
We're also here with trial attorney Adante Pointer. Adante, do you think those statements from the family, those emotional statements from the family where the judge just said, this is important for me to hear, do you think that's going to affect the sentence? Do you think the judge has already gone in with a sentence and may be swayed by what he's hearing? Adante, I think you have are you muted? Okay, we got you. Yep, you were saying?
That's certainly Diddy's team and his family's hope, is that those cries, those pleas for help, the idea that the punishment is not just borne by Diddy alone, but also by his family, and that can have repercussions as well, is something that the judge should take into consideration. However, when the judge starts off by talking about the guidelines say what they say in terms of 6 to 7 years, you know, you're now having to kind of battle back from that position and identify some points of mitigation that would cause the judge, persuade the judge to go below the sentencing guidelines.
Or do you think it's, hey, I'm not going to go past it? I still agree. He might say, I still agree 5 to 7 years, Dante, but I'm not going to 11. I'm not going past it. That, you think that's where these statements, this video could come into play?
Well, certainly it could come into play for that. I mean, look, if you're playing defense, which Combs is because he's been convicted, then you're trying to put a cap on the maximum punishment that you can get at minimum. In your best case scenario, you've provided persuasive information that makes the judge want to depart below the guidelines, which is their best case scenario, right? So the best case scenario, you want the judge not to even reach the 5 to 7 year marker. Worst case scenario, please don't go above the guidelines and hit me with the 11 years the prosecution is banging on their drum about.
Now, we do have a super chat question from Bravado Agency. Such a great super chat question. Bravado Agency, just wait 1 second. I will get to it. I just want to go to Justin Paperny about something. It is important to note, Justin, and I want you to clarify it for our audience, okay? If he is sentenced to significant prison time, so anywhere 5 years and more, how much time will he actually serve? And where do you think he will serve it?
That answer actually helps with the video, if I can touch on that quickly. I think the video does a good job of helping the judge look at the totality of his life, along with the statements from the children and the letters. It's important because these videos and letters lay out some vision of what he will do moving forward. So even if it doesn't directly impact the sentence, there are promises in this copy that the Bureau of Prisons can later use down the road to determine if he is authentic, if he is following through on the commitments that he made in this letter, or he is now asking a case manager to take the totality of his life into consideration in sending him direct to home confinement. So that's why I think it's important for the mitigation. The question is, will he follow through? I think he will, given what he's done while he's in custody. I think a lot of it's been impressive. To the sentence, based on this crime, as I understand it, he would be ineligible to get earned time credits under the First Step Act, a law that President Trump signed in 2018. These earned time credits can take up to 1 year off of your sentence. And with BOP directives, these credits can continue to stack. As a result of this conviction, he is ineligible. So that's additional time he would serve in prison. If the sentence, I presume, is 3 years or longer, if I were betting, he would eventually get transferred from MDC. Per the First Step Act, they want to send you to a prison within 500 miles of your release address. I presume it would be a low security prison. If in California, most likely Lompoc or Terminal Island here in San Pedro. If it's the short sentence his legal team is asking for, probably 3 years or less, with good time together with what he served, he may say, I'd just like to finish the rest of my sentence here.
Yep, very consistent with what Dr. Hendricks was saying. I think we're working on getting Sierra Gillespie up. As we do, I just want to go now, Rich, to Bravado Agency. This question, the super chat question, Rich. Judge Subramanian, clerk for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She embraced her judicial role with the solemn responsibility of following the law. How might this influence affect Judge Subramanian today?
Well, I don't know if it's the Ruth Bader Ginsburg connection, although she was, of course, one of the significant Supreme Court justices of our lifetime and a great place to clerk. Judge Subramanian, I think, has been trying to act within the scope of the law throughout these proceedings. I think he wants to follow the law, and obviously no judge wants to get reversed, so they always try to follow the law. So I do believe he's going to do his best to consistently adhere to the legal principles and guidelines. That said, at the end of the day, he has some discretion in sentencing. That's what sentencing is all about. That's why even the proposed, the PSR is in a range, and he can go outside of that range, acting consistently with the law. So he will try his best, and we will see what he comes up with.
Well, I'm here with Sierra Gillespie as well. Raises an interesting question. We got this question here from Luna Wolf WY. Do you think, Sierra, do you think people will protest and or riot if he gets the max time? So I guess they're referring to, what, 20 years in prison, which seems unlikely. You're outside that courthouse. You're looking at the scene. I hope for your sake and everyone's sake that doesn't happen, but what do you think?
I don't necessarily think that there's going to be a 20-year sentence here today. I mean, I think that seems pretty extreme. We could maybe rule that out. However, I could see if there is a lengthy sentence that the people here, just based on the vibe, could do something. I mean, last time I was here when the verdicts came down, I know I keep talking about this, but it was very notable that people were squirting baby oil and lube at the courthouse here, the federal courthouse in the Southern District of New York. I mean, it's New York. Anything can happen here. There have been people up and down the streets yelling, "Free Diddy." There have been people running behind me in my live shots and pointing at the monitor saying, "That's Jesse Weber." You know, people do not mind coming up to us. People do not mind yelling. I mean, so I think there are a decent amount of Diddy supporters here. And if there was a sentence that wasn't great for P. Diddy, I'm not surprised if I'm going to hear some people yelling. Maybe I'm going to see some more baby oil and lube, shouting. I mean, there are police barricades and there are officers around in case things do get out of control. And again, when the verdicts came down, there were police officers officers here who had to control traffic. There were so many people, and it had a heightened sense of security here. So, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see what the sentence really is, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get some outbursts from people here in New York.
And just so you know, I pay those people very well to say those comments about me. But that's a side note. Justin, got a poll question we put in. Put it up. Do you believe Diddy's claimed transformation? 63% say no, it feels like damage control. 19% say yes, people can grow. 11% say hard to say. 7% say maybe. The reason I'm posing this question to you is because Diddy, in his letter to the judge, talked about how the MDC changed him, talked about the good that he can do on the outside, how this has been a transformative moment. We haven't heard from him in court yet, but look at this, what it seems to be, people are very skeptical about this idea of him being transformed. Your take on it?
So I can understand the skepticism. I've been to prison, and a lot of people make a lot of claims. I can understand it's in his lawyer's interest to talk about the transformation. I think they're doing a pretty good job. I'm a believer or buyer because we're beginning to compile some evidence from people inside of that prison who are willing to put their name to a letter that says, he is impacting me, he is helping me. There are people that go to prison who play the victim all day. They blame, they excuse, they watch television. They do nothing to try to contribute. So I find it very helpful. I find it positive that while he's been in this really difficult detention center, stripped from his family through his own bad choices, he's making the most of the experience. In my opinion, that's the biggest mitigation argument that he has. There is no doubt how much his children love and support and miss him. And I can understand a judge might say, if you were so concerned about your children, you might have given more thought to your conduct. I've been to enough sentencing hearings to know. So the children have done an excellent job. I think his lawyers are doing a very good job of doing what they're paid to do. To his mitigation, avoiding problems, which you shouldn't be rewarded for if you're compliant, but still a lot of people are not. The best thing he has going for him, even if it doesn't directly impact his sentence today because it could influence a case manager down the road, is the work that he has done while he is in custody to provide value to those who have not had the opportunities, the benefits that he has had throughout a lifetime. I think it's real. I think it is significant. And I think the judge may comment on it. But if not, you could expect a case manager down the road to be influenced if he continues to do it. It just doesn't stop at sentencing. He's continuing to build a record for the rest of his life, frankly. This isn't a legal strategy for him. It is a mitigation strategy for his children, for his family. But I think it's very genuine what he's done, and I think it's very encouraging. I would just encourage him to continue whatever the number is today.
So we have an update from court. That video that they were playing is over. It's been played. Okay. The judge says, Mr. Steele, who will be speaking next? Brian Steele says, the Reverend Dr. Johnson. Then the man from the reentry program, if you permit. Judge says, any more lawyers? Brian Steele says, myself, then Mr. Donaldson. They're going to resume now at 2 p.m. Eastern. Adante, this may take quite some time. Is this typical? Is this typical to see a sentencing on these kind of federal charges take a full day like this?
It's not typical to see a full day of a sentencing. However, I don't think it's the charges. I think it's who is being charged and who is being sentenced is why it's taking such a long time. It's not uncommon because you do have to have, both sides, if you will, not only the court weigh in with the sentencing and its analysis, but also the prosecutors and whoever the victims want us to talk. And of course, here, the defendant has an opportunity. So it's not a quick situation like you might see in state court where, a person could be sentenced within about 15, 20 minutes. This is a federal court, and so it's a much more elaborate process. Nevertheless, what I think you see here are two titans, if you will. You have the United States government on one side, and they're asking for 11 years. They're beating their drum. They're pulling anything and everything that they feel the court should consider. But the defendant also has the right to do that. And he's well-heeled. He has a number of attorneys looking at it, and they're going to play all the angles to Diddy's benefit. And keep in mind, the judge should and is instructed to take into consideration more than just what was in the four corners of the conviction. The judge could take in all the other testimony that was about other bad acts, but at the same time, the defendant gets to present the court with all of the things Diddy has done, be it a school that he funded in his neighborhood, provided free education and boarding to people, and all the other generous acts that he's done over the years. The judge has to then balance all those things to ultimately come out with a sentence. And of course, we're all waiting with bated breath to find out what that will be.
Rich, I want to jump on something you mentioned before, his letter to the court. By all accounts, Sean Combs is going to provide a statement in court today. It may echo what his letter said. I was playing before his apology video that came out after the Cassie tape was published by CNN. A lot of people didn't buy it. They didn't believe him. He was also accused of committing crimes after that video came out. What can he say in a best case scenario? What can he say? What can he do that may affect the judge's decision here, given that, as you said so well, that the judge has a lot of discretion here?
I think the themes that he wants to hit on, and they were in his letter, are remorse, regret, and rehabilitation. And Justin really spelled this out well. I too thought that is by far his strongest argument, that he can do good and is already doing good and is really capable if he's earnest about it. This is someone who's capable of doing immense good in the public if he gets out and if he does it. And I think that is his strongest argument. He needs to be careful, though, because there were things in the letter that the judge didn't like and the prosecutors harped on. He can't say anything negative about any witness or any victim. He doesn't want to say anything to deny committing these crimes or to deflect responsibility. He was pretty good in the letter, but he did sort of say something about Mia that I think was misplaced in that letter. He doesn't want to do any of that. He wants to keep it short. He wants it to be heartfelt. I assume he's not going to read something. He's going to use his presenter ability. And to your point, Jesse, about how this is taking a long time, for better or worse, this is a very well-equipped defendant, right? It is the rare defendant that can produce a video to play at their sentencing hearing. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. Or bring in, multiple children and a reverend and other impact statements and have multiple lawyers make arguments and then get up and say something. So there is a lot to be said. But when it's his turn, remorse, regret, rehabilitation, sit down.
So that's a really good breakdown of what he needs to do. And it's interesting, Justin, because I'm thinking about it. On one hand, the judge could say, my gosh, it's so unique what Sean Combs has been doing in prison, helping his fellow inmates. We got a lot of letters from people who say he's changed their lives. He may be committed to doing well on the outside. Could the judge take the other view? Well, not everybody's in Sean Combs' position. Not everybody has the ability to teach business classes and use that for their benefit at sentencing. And if I use that to benefit him, that places him in an unfair position. And I'm curious, whether the judge may say something like that. And while it's great what he's doing and commends him for doing it, he can't use it as a deciding factor to determine what his sentence should be. I'm just curious your opinion on it, Justin.
So there's a nonprofit I'm affiliated with called Prison Professors Charitable Corporation that is in every BOP prison. It influences millions of people, and a number of people will volunteer to that nonprofit, and it's been very helpful through sentencing hearings, and judges have commented on it. It has never been harmful. I don't think this work that he did would be harmful unless you have the lawyers or Mr. Combs try to oversell it, right? The impact of it, or if it wasn't real. I've been to sentencing hearings where judges will say, yes, I saw you go to the soup kitchen once a week. You've truly changed the world, and any volunteer work is clearly working against them. So I think it has to be realistic. It has to be measurable. I think 1 year is a sustained period of time. I don't think you should punish him for having skills that he's choosing to use to help people. What's the alternative? Sit there all day in isolation and complain? He shouldn't be hurt or impacted negatively by trying to help people. Some people try to oversell it. It doesn't appear as if he has. I would argue that for him to get maximum benefit, regardless of the sentence today, as someone who's been to federal prison, but I was in federal prison in 2008 when there was no prison reform. There was no agenda to advance my release date. Measures have changed through the First Step Act, more that we think is coming. So it's really in his interest whether he gets 5 years, 7 years, 11 years, to say, Your Honor, regardless of what happens today at sentencing, I'm going to continue this through my sentence, probation, for the rest of my life, and use this experience as an asset to influence many of the brothers that I have met here in prison.
Okay, so I have big news. Elizabeth Milner, Queen Elizabeth, is with us right now. She is straight from the courtroom. She was in there for the entirety of the day so far. Elizabeth, it is so great to see you. I have to start with this. You can tell me how Sean Combs appears, how he looks, but you got to tell me what the emotion was like in the courtroom in the past hour. We're reading about it. We're hearing what his children, his attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, that they were sobbing, but I don't know if it's really doing it justice for what the feeling is like in that courtroom. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. Well, when Sean Combs first came into the courtroom today, you know, we were knowing what the tone would necessarily be. Would he come in? Would he appear confident? Well, when he did come in today, he was kind of in, he was in civilian clothes now. He wasn't in the MDC jumpsuit or anything like that. He was wearing a tan sweater, white undershirt, dark pants, all of his tattoos covered up. He waved at his family and he did prayers hands to him. And I noted even in my notes, because we're not allowed to have electronic devices when we're in the courtroom, just about how nervous, to me at least, he seemed while walking in. And I can only imagine how he feels being in that predicament. He is facing sentencing. It could go either way. I think a lot of people obviously are anticipating what that sentence will ultimately be, but you could tell like it felt like the weight of the world was on him. And then I think, Jesse, honestly, when, you know, we had an attorney speak before Nicole Westmoreland came on, that was Jason Driscoll, really kind of honing in on kind of some of the legal arguments. But I was very surprised, honestly, to see Nicole Westmoreland get so emotional during this sentencing, you know, and it really kind of began when she started talking about Revolt Television and all of Sean Combs' accomplishments. Something that the defense, I feel like, has been using this as a way to kind of appease to not only the judge, but possibly the public in terms of his redemption when it comes to just wanting people to not think about this case, not think about the trial, not think about these allegations, but more so really just talk about his accomplishment and what he's done for the community, and more specifically what he's done to the Black community. And so Nicole Westmoreland really getting emotional when she was talking about how he spent a lot of time helping his community, how he helped break the chain of systemic racism, how he opened 3 charter schools in poverty-stricken areas, how he employed thousands of people. He gave opportunity to inner-city individuals. His companies were very diverse. He inspired generations to follow. They were bringing about, or they were talking about vote or die. And then Nicole Westmoreland kind of made it a little more personal, where she was discussing how some of her interests were where she was super passionate about mass incarceration. She went to an event 8 years ago, and who was the speaker there? None other than who would end up being her client years later, and that was Sean Diddy Combs. And she said that he had said something along the lines of, listen, everyone, don't be afraid to dream. Just remember to wake up, put those actions behind your dreams. And she said that pretty much changed her life. She says, Mr. Combs isn't larger than life. He's just a man who made mistakes. And then I think the tears really started to fall when the children came to speak at the podium today. And it wasn't even necessarily a situation where they were rushed over into the front of the courtroom and all had to turn. It was really just kind of a simple, casual measure. They all got up to the podium. They all stood together, and it's 6 of them, minus the 7th child, that being, of course, baby Love, who's only 2 years old. Didn't see her in the courtroom or anything like that, but I did see her mother, Dana Tran, inside there. But all the kids lined up at the podium. It's seated near the jury box. And Quincy Brown speaks first. And I think what's important to note is Quincy Brown, his biological father is actually Albie Shura, who had a relationship with Kim Porter. They were together. But Sean Combs adopted Quincy when he was very young. And then there was kind of some talk before, prior, just about the relationship between Quincy Brown and his biological father. But in terms of what he was speaking about today in sentencing, he said that he's our father. In front of us, we see a changed man week after week. We can see him evolve. Our father will never do anything to jeopardize his freedom. Now, Justin Combs spoke afterwards. Christian Combs spoke after that. But Jesse Combs is really where it started to kind of pick up in terms of the emotions again, where she immediately started crying. And I can only imagine how that feels to speak in front of not only the judge, but in front of your father, in front of a whole bunch of people in the media who want to hear what the kids have to say. Because even though we saw them inside the courtroom, Jesse, even though we've seen them in passing in the cafeteria and other things like that, this is the first time we're really kind of hearing them speak about how their lives have been impacted by Sean Combs's, the allegations that have been against him and the conduct, all of that stuff. But they said right up the front, they were like, we're not here to make excuses for him. We aren't here to excuse his mistakes. We need him in our lives. Jessie Combs talking about how she lost her mom, her mom being Kim Porter, when she was very young, and that Sean Combs promised to be there to keep them safe. Then Chance Combs spoke afterwards, and she said that we're just daughters who need our father. When we talk, he speaks with a clear mind now. He's more patient. He's thoughtful. He wants to be a better man. He wants to be a better father. He's parented our 2-year-old sister from jail, and I see glimpses of our father during that. She said our sister deserves, and that the sister being 2-year-old Love, deserves a father who is present to teach her how to ride a bike, to tuck her in at night before she goes to bed, something that all kids want from their parents, right? Then Delilah Combs afterwards spoke after Chance. She said that we're scared of the thought of not having our mom and our dad in our life. And she says that these are the years that we'll never get back. She says, I know that missing years hurt because we lost our mom and they've already lost so much. So really that was kind of a time where you were really kind of seeing everyone get a little emotional in terms of people on the defendant's side. Sean Combs himself, I think it was a moment where we were kind of seeing him inside the courtroom at the defense table really kind of turn and look at his children. Kind of hard for him to keep a straight face with that. Like, he was so emotional, which I understand. He's a father, and he's a father to many children, and the kids have gone through a lot in their life. And so it was very emotional, Jesse. I can definitely say that. It was a lot of tears inside the gallery, especially on Sean Combs' side, but definitely from Sean Combs himself, too. He was very emotional while his kids were speaking.
There's a lot at stake today. It's not surprising you're seeing this. By the way, before I ask you something else, I just have to let you know the amount of love that you're getting online is quite palpable. Basti failed. Greetings, my queen. We love you in Germany. Christina Lester, super chat comment, who's been great today. Tell Elizabeth her skin is glowing as per usual. Nikki Hayes, how are you, Elizabeth? We heart and appreciate you. Anto Grego, beautiful Jesse and Queen Elizabeth. Love you guys. You make a great team. Maylin Bourbon, oh, how I missed the chat, the lunchtime show, and the Long Crime team and panel. Long Crime, thank you for all your hard work. So, and super chat question from Mike. What's the update? Well, I think Elizabeth just laid out the entire update. I will ask you this. There was a question from the lone medic. How long does Elizabeth think Diddy will be sentenced for? Wasn't there a comment today, Elizabeth, from the judge that he does not see any reason to deviate from the guidelines of what, 5 to 7 years?
Yes, and so there was a lot of math that I was honestly doing, Jesse, because when they're talking about the sentencing guidelines, they're always talking about it in ranges of months. And so because there are 12 months in a year, I'm having to do quick math. So really what the judge is kind of looking at and what the PSR recommendation was 70 to 87 months, which by my calculations, because I don't have a calculator inside that courtroom, about 6 or 7 years. So I could see it possibly being definitely on the higher range than maybe the defense was expecting. I think especially in terms of the judge's tone today when he brought up that Sean Combs had been talking publicly about possibly doing an in-person speaking engagement in Miami. I think actually I take that back. It wasn't the judge who brought that up, but it was more so the government who specifically brought that up, because it seems like from the defense's side that they were expecting possibly for him to be released today pending the outcome of what the sentencing may be. And so in terms of my personal opinions, I don't think the judge is going to be lenient today. And I don't know if necessarily the victim impact statement, seeing the video that played inside the courtroom, hearing from Sean Combs's children, hearing from his defense attorneys will sway him in any type of way. I think he's probably already has his decision already made. But if I were to have my guess, I wouldn't put it past him to have anything below 2 years. And possibly with the possibility of time served, that's only another year in prison. And so we'll see what the outcome will be once that sentence is eventually handed down, which will be later this afternoon for sure. Possibly.
Yeah, so we have a question also, and I apologize if you answered it before, but it's this is from Rebecca L. What is Diddy wearing today?
Yes, well, Rebecca, Diddy is wearing, because I always write it down, whatever he is wearing inside, is wearing a tan sweater, white undershirt, and he's wearing dark pants today, which is different from the last time I actually saw him in the courtroom, and that being the hearing that happened just last week when he actually appeared in the MDC jumpsuit. And so still kind of a similar color, but definitely in civilian clothes as opposed to last week's hearing.
And by the way, this revelation that Mia, who is one of the victims in this case, claimed that Sean Combs sexually assaulted her. She was supposed to provide a statement today. She had provided a letter to the court. The defense objected to her providing a statement in court. She didn't want to speak today. I mean, can you talk to us about that revelation too? That happened at the beginning of the day.
That was a big revelation. I was expecting to hear some in-person victim impact statements, especially from government witnesses. And so it was a big shocker when Christy Slavic said today that Mia no longer wants or wishes to give a victim impact statement. And she, Christy Slavic, had said that Mia had submitted a written statement, and that was the same letter from the government sentencing memo. And then it was interesting, Jesse, honestly, to hear the judge kind of get a little kind of testy a little bit with the defense's side, because he pretty much said the tone of the defense's letter in response to Mia giving a victim impact statement was just inappropriate. And the tone of that letter was pretty harsh. It was kind of the same tone and impact that the cross-examination was, where they set out in legal filing, they called her a liar. They said that she was having kind of a fake demeanor while she was on the witness stand. There's all of these things. So it, honestly, Jesse, it wasn't too much of a surprise that she did end up changing her mind. But I can understand why she might have been apprehensive about coming into court today, especially given the defense's response to her just wanting to give a victim impact statement, something that we see that's pretty routine in these sentencing hearings.
So, Elizabeth, I know you have to jump back into that courtroom. Excellent reporting. You're going to come back later on. We will see when the sentence is handed down. And also, Elizabeth's going to be on with me for a special sidebar later when we break down everything that happened in court today. Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right, so Sierra's going to come back on in a little bit. All my guests, Rich, Justin, Adante, stay with me. We're going to take a quick break on our end. The court is currently in break. When they come back, we'll come back, and we'll continue to provide live coverage of Sean Diddy Combs' sentencing day. Stay with us.
Yes.
So there's still no more updates yet. I've been going back and forth watching Twitter, and nothing is going on just yet. All right, let's see here. Let's go back and check now, because let's see here. The X. So we're going to resume at 2 p.m. It's almost 2 p.m. over there. Gosh darn it. Okay, let's scroll back down some more. There we go. Okay, they're still on break. He has not come back yet. So we will continue to watch the Law and Crime until they resume with the testimony. So apparently they're still not back yet. So I'm still checking Twitter. So as soon as we find out, I will come back. But again, they are still not back from their break just yet. All right. Men, before So I'm still checking Twitter. There has been no updates as of yet. I'm still checking the Twitters. And again, there is no update, so I will continue to refresh and find something new. We will get back on the commentary.
I thought you wanted to give me audio. Give me a moment.
Hey guys, it's Leah. We're here at the courthouse. Hold on, he's gonna see if the. Wait. Do you hear anything? Hey. We're here at the courthouse. Hello. You're not hearing an actual voice? No. Hold on, he's changing it. Hang on, because somebody from Fox is helping me. Fox is helping us. Thank the Lord for them. Can you hear us now? Can you guys hear us in the LA office? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? But they gotta hear me over in LA. Hello? Line level? Hello. We're coming to you live from New York City. Can you guys hear me? Coming to you live from New York City. Hold on. Hey. Coming to you live from New York. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
And welcome back to our live coverage of Sean Diddy Combs' sentencing out in federal court in downtown Manhattan. I'm Jesse Weber. Really, thank you so much for joining us. We are waiting for what that official sentence will be. We're waiting for the court to start up again, and it was a highly emotional moment earlier on today when several of Sean Combs' children took the stand and provided impact statements, provided statements to the court, asking the judge to be lenient in his sentence after Sean Combs was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in his trial over the summer. We reported earlier on that it seems the judge has indicated that he will not deviate, or let me rephrase, he sees no reason to deviate at this point from the recommended sentence of 5 to 7 years in prison. There is something potentially that could change his mind to go one way or another. Remember, his defense attorneys were asking for 14 months. Prosecutors were asking for 11 years. There is an unknown here. We don't know which way the judge will actually go. But as we talked about, Elizabeth Milner, who was inside that courtroom, these were highly, highly emotional statements where you heard crying, sobbing, Sean Combs.
Well, y'all, I think they got I haven't seen any more commentary, but I think we'll adjourn the live stream at this time, and we'll come back when we have more commentary and even the sentence. So I thank you all for seeing me through this live stream. This live stream I haven't done in a very long time. Thank you all for the views and the likes. And even if you do have a dislike, that's great. But I will see you all very soon, all right? And remember, reality checks are free.